Hey everyone, I'm back, and today we're going to talk about rescue being a journey. So, right now, let's get cracking the whip. Rescue's not a destination, it's a journey, and it's a never ending journey. And the reason I say that is because at this point, there are so many horses going to slaughter, over 100,000 a year, that nobody can keep up with that and find homes for these horses. There's not enough money, there's not enough places, there's not enough people with talent to be able to work all these horses and get them placed. So it continues. And even with saddlebreds, we don't have that many horses that are going to slaughter on the scheme of things, but there's a tremendous amount. And for every 6 we save one week where we don't leave anybody behind, the next week there's 8. And the week after that, there's another 6 or 7 or 8. And those are the ones we know about. Those are not the ones that fall through the cracks that we never hear. So many of these horses end up shipping to slaughter anyway. But that doesn't stop us from trying. There's lows and highs with every journey, and rescue is no different. A high is when you hear about a horse that's shipping on Friday. You've got to save its life, you've got to send your money, and this horse is going to get saved and go to quarantine. But what happens after quarantine? Where does it go? Who got it? Many of these horses are purchased from the broker programs. They are not adopted. They are purchased. And many of these horses, because of the fact that they were Amish horses, doesn't make them highly trained and very docile and lazy or laid back. Most of these horses, to live this long on the road, had to have energy. And it's only when their body gave out and they got sore that they were passed on. Otherwise, these horses learn to work and go forward. So some of these people with big hearts trying to save these horses, they get these horses. And after a few months, the horse's body starts repairing itself. Their muscle soreness is gone. Their joints are relieved because we're no longer asking them to do hard labor. And then guess what? Those horses have energy. They're performance horses. That's what they were bred to do. That's what the Amish love. It's why they like them. They've got some energy to them. They go forward. They do things. And not every horse that's on the road has been trained to the absolute max. In fact, most of them haven't. So what happens when a good-hearted person who doesn't have a lot of knowledge about horses gets a horse that suddenly starts feeling better and puts their head in the air and snorts and doesn't feel like acting like a deadhead or a lazy old horse? Because they're not. These horses, we get these calls every week, people wanting us to take them, that they got them through the broker program, they paid for them, or their friends helped them pay for them, and now they have a horse they can't deal with. What happens to those horses? Well, I can tell you for a fact that if Saddlebred Rescue was not involved in the purchase or the getting this horse, it didn't go through our program, we can't take them because we're full. When we place one, many times I get 2 or 3. We're always running at top capacity here. So what happens to these horses? They disappear. And that's the low from that high. You don't get one without the other. Those horses, the high was saving them, and the low is, oh my God, they're not suited for anything I can do, and now I can't find them a home. And they're right back at risk at ending back in the slaughter pipeline because they usually get pushed on, given away, sold to somebody that'll give them just any kind of money, and a lot of times those are the buyers. It does give you a rush, but there are other highs and lows in rescuing. Finding a home from somebody, that's a comforting high. You know you've worked the horse, you feel good, you feel comforted this horse is going to go into his forever home. But does it? Some of these horses get there and they're wonderful. Most of them are. And they'll be there 2, 3, 4, 5 years, maybe longer. However, when people's lives change, the situation for the horse changes. We've had people that ended up getting a divorce, they lost their job, they had to move and couldn't find a place for their horse, they got sick, the money just wasn't there. And now here comes the low. They're coming back. But again, a comforting feeling is they're coming back to us because they're in our program. So we constantly have horses because after all, we've done about 1,500 horses. I'm not sure on the exact number, but it's way up there. We say every horse comes back, we will be their safety net, and we try to live up to that. So it's kind of comforting in that we know they're still safe. It was a feel-good type moment that turned into oh my God, that's really sad type moment to, okay, we're here, we can deal with this. And then you get the really heartbreaking lows that we deal with on a weekly basis. For it's sobbing, it's breaking your heart, and that's when you get a horse in and you're going to have to put them down. They're neurological. Their back end doesn't work. They don't know where their feet are, and they're lovely to deal with, and they're beautiful, some of them, and some of them are just so kind. But you can't safely place these horses because they're not safe to be around, even on the ground. How many people have purchased those horses through the broker programs, or a horse that just went into quarantine and they don't know anything about it, have gotten horses that have had neurological damage, and they don't show because nobody's checking for it. We've had the highest number of horses have to be put to sleep due to severe neurological damage in any of the years we've done this, and all the years we've done this, put together, just in the last year. I don't know why. I don't know whether it was the winter, injuries, illness. Sometimes it can be EPM. Other times it can be a slip on the road. It can be all kinds of things. But that is a just heartbreaking, sobbing when you put them to sleep type experience. That these horses, while they were saved and didn't get further torture by being shipped and going to slaughter when they really don't know where their feet are, but they're saved. They were safe. They were happy in the last few days or weeks. We usually take a couple weeks before we decide to do it. They were comfortable. They were full. They were brushed. They were loved on. So we've got a high and a low. That's what it is. That's what it's like. And it's no way you can ever get out of it. And this is why a lot of rescuers, 501c3s, stop. Because after a while, it's hard on your psyche. It's depressing. You get to the point where you can't get out. So it takes a lot of work to stay positive and to keep saving these horses. And it helps when you can see them, and it helps when everything goes right. This weekend was a good example of the journey on the rescues. We sent DNA in on 4 horses. 3 of them got sent in first, and the 4th one we still don't know about. We got the results back this weekend. The DNA confirmed 2 of the 3 had papers. Oh my God, that is wonderful. One of them, which we thought was in his teens, ended up being 21 years old. How did that horse have a DNA at 21? Well, the only thing I could figure, and it plays out when I find out from the papers, is he was a stallion at some point and had foals. And when they wanted to register the foals, they had to DNA this horse. So here's his story. And that horse is Dale, SBR Dale. He's the one with the blind eye. He was a stallion for a big breeder. The breeder died, and the horses had to be dispersed. He ended up with an Amish or Mennonite guy that wasn't probably too far from where the horse was. And that man bred him and had 2 registered colts, one of which who showed. So that horse got DNA'd. His mouth doesn't look that old, but he matched. One colt showed, one did not, and then the horse probably got gelded and put on the road and was there for several years. Somebody rode him, he does ride, he will canter, we're working on him, he's kind, he stays to the rail. He's a beautiful horse, maybe not overly high-headed at this point, but wonderful. The second horse, Confetti, came back, and we were right on the money with the age. He was registered. He's very well bred. This horse also rides well. He walks, trots, and canters. He's going to be somebody's nice horse. He's a little gamer, but he still looks showier. He'll be just a top academy horse. So that was good for him. Then this weekend we realized that when I turned him out to get him out of where he was in quarantine, somebody had kicked him up and beat him up really bad, so he's back in the stall healing up his cuts. There's my low. But he'll heal, so that's my high. The last horse that we got back is Chip. Chip and Dale were both two of the really skinny horses that came in this spring, I think, or maybe late summer or early summer. Chip has not ridden very well. He's hard to put on weight. I'm sure he has ulcers. We haven't had the money to put him on ulcer medicine, so we've been treating him differently, trying to get him in order. He is putting on weight, but Chip doesn't ride very well. Chip doesn't have a lot of energy. At this point, he'd just like to walk and trot on trails. And he looks kind of like he swallowed a board. So I really hope somebody will like Chip, because he's not registered. He was probably raised by the Amish. He's a nice boy, but the chances for him are getting lower that he'll find a home. And it's really discouraging. That's the down. We've got this horse. We saved him. He's put on weight. And the down is we don't know whether we can get him a home or not. How long do we keep him? How long is he going to stay here before somebody finds him? So we've gone through the highs and lows. The other low was we could not even raise the money for 3 DNA tests. The DNA test cost us $125. It's $375 that I could not even get raised to test these horses. That's a real down for me. We'll get the money to buy the horses and save them, the purchase price, but we cannot hardly raise funds at all to keep them. And we're keeping over 30 horses here at Saddlebred Rescue. The money is really needed to be sent in on a regular basis. And this is a constant low for us. This is the part that puts people in depression. So please, consider donating to Saddlebred Rescue. Look at what we do with our horses and our programs and what our beliefs are. Thank you.